Hello there, and welcome to a sanctuary of quiet wonder. Tonight, we are going to step away from the familiar rhythms of your day, leaving behind the noise and the urgency of the modern world, to embark on a gentle voyage into the botanical unknown. We are setting out to discover a hidden side of nature, a collection of living sculptures and silent guardians that have thrived on this planet for eons, existing in forms so unique and unusual that they seem to belong to a different world entirely. This is a journey into the serene and the strange, where we will walk among plants that defy our expectations, organisms that have mastered the art of survival through patience, through camouflage, and through slow, deliberate transformation. As we travel together through these imagined landscapes, there is no need for you to memorize names or understand the complex science of biology. Your only task tonight is to let go, to allow your breathing to slow down, matching the steady, unhurried pulse of the earth itself. If you are here seeking rest, or perhaps a way to quiet a busy mind, you have found the right place. We will move slowly, drifting from mist-covered mountains to sun-warmed deserts, exploring the quietest corners of the globe where these unusual plants live their secret lives. So, find a comfortable position. Let your shoulders drop and close your eyes. Let the darkness behind your eyelids become a canvas for the lush, peaceful worlds we are about to explore. Imagine for a moment that you are standing at the edge of a vast, ancient garden. The air here is different. It is cooler, fresher, carrying the scent of damp earth and rain-washed leaves. There is a profound silence here, a stillness that feels heavy and comforting, like a warm blanket. As you take your first step onto the soft, mossy path, you feel the ground yield slightly beneath your feet, cushioning your stride. You are safe here, guided by curiosity and the promise of peaceful discovery. Our journey begins not in a lush rainforest, but in a place of stark, minimal beauty. Imagine a landscape of pale golden sand stretching out toward a hazy horizon. We are in the Namib Desert, one of the oldest deserts on Earth. It is a place where silence has reigned for millions of years. The air is dry and warm, but a gentle fog is rolling in from the distant ocean, cooling your skin and softening the light into a diffuse, silver glow. Here, emerging from the stony ground, lives one of the world's most extraordinary and resilient plants, the welwitschia. As you approach it, you might think you are looking at a pile of green ribbons left behind by a storm. But as you look closer, you see the ancient dignity of this living being. It is a plant that values patience above all else. It grows only 2 leaves, just 2. They emerge from a central woody stem that stays low to the ground, protecting itself from the wind. These 2 leaves grow continuously, never shedding, never starting over. They have been growing for centuries, perhaps even a millennium. Imagine the passage of time required for such a slow, steady existence. As the leaves grow, the desert winds gently fray their ends, twisting and curling them into complex sculptural shapes that sprawl across the sand. They look like weathered leather, textured and tough, colored in shades of deep olive and sun-faded brown. Kneel down in your mind's eye and touch one of these leaves. It feels cool and firm, a testament to life's ability to endure. This plant has felt the sun rise and set tens of thousands of times. It has drunk from the morning fog for generations, collecting moisture drop by precious drop. It asks for nothing more than to exist, anchoring itself in the sand, a silent observer of history. Being near it, you feel a sense of deep stability. There is no rush here. The welwitschia does not strive to grow tall or to bloom with flashy colors. It simply is. It teaches us that there is great strength in staying grounded, in enduring the seasons with grace, and in finding what we need even in the quietest, most barren places. The fog begins to lift, and the scene around you dissolves gently, like mist evaporating in the morning sun. The golden sands fade, replaced by the vibrant deep greens of a tropical waterway. You are now drifting slowly on a calm, dark river in the Amazon basin. The air is thick and warm, hugging you like a soft embrace. You can hear the gentle lap of water against the shore and the distant rhythmic chorus of crickets and frogs, a lullaby of the rainforest. The water surface is like a black mirror, reflecting the moon that hangs full and bright in the sky above. Floating upon this stillness are the giant water lilies, the Victoria amazonica. They are truly colossal, like great green platters set upon a banquet table for the spirits of the forest. Each leaf is a perfect circle, spanning vast distances, some wide enough for a small child to curl up and sleep upon. Look closely at one of these magnificent floating islands. The edges are turned up, creating a distinct rim that keeps the river water from flooding the leaf's surface. The top is a glossy, vibrant green, repelling water so that rain gathers in jewel-like droplets that roll and shimmer in the moonlight. The underside, hidden beneath the dark water, is a network of strong, ribbed veins, a marvel of natural engineering that provides the strength to stay afloat. It is night, and this is the time of the water lily's magic. In the center of the massive leaves, a flower is beginning to open. It happens slowly, a graceful unfolding that cannot be rushed. The petals are pure white, glowing softly in the darkness, contrasting with the dark water and the deep green leaves. As the flower opens, it releases a sweet tropical fragrance, a scent like pineapple and butterscotch that drifts through the humid air, inviting you to breathe deeply and relax. Watch as the petals pull back, revealing the golden heart of the flower. It is a silent performance of beauty, witnessed only by the moon and the quiet river. This bloom will last only for a short time, changing color to a deep pink before sinking back into the depths, a cycle of renewal that happens endlessly in this secluded paradise. There is a hypnotic quality to the water, to the way the giant leaves gently bob with the current. You feel yourself drifting along with them, supported, weightless, carried by the flow of the river toward deeper relaxation. As we leave the river behind, the air grows cooler and thinner. We are ascending now, moving effortlessly up the slopes of a high Andean mountain. The tropical humidity is replaced by a crisp, clean breeze that smells of stone and dry grass. The landscape here is open and vast, a sea of golden tussock grasses waving rhythmically in the wind. The sky is a piercing, deep blue, stretching infinitely above you. Standing sentinel in this high-altitude realm is the queen of the Andes, the Puya Raimondi. It is a giant among plants, a bromeliad that dwarfs all others. Imagine a massive rosette of spiky leaves at the base, sharp and protective, a dense sphere of greenery that has taken decades to grow. From the center of this base rises a towering spike, reaching up to the sky like a natural skyscraper, covered in thousands of individual flowers. This plant is the embodiment of the long wait. It lives for 80, maybe 100 years, before it blooms for the first and only time. For a century it stands on the mountainside, enduring the cold nights and the intense mountain sun, gathering its strength, preparing for its one magnificent moment. It is a lesson in delayed gratification, in the beauty of a life dedicated to a singular, spectacular purpose. Imagine standing at the foot of this giant. You feel small, but connected to its grandeur. The wind whispers through its dry leaves, a sound like rushing water. When it finally blooms, it erupts in a creamy white and green spectacle, offering nectar to the hummingbirds and insects of the high Sierra. But for now, in our journey, it is in its quiet phase, its waiting phase. It stands still and silent, a guardian of the mountain, watching over the valley below. Its presence is calming, a reminder that great things take time, that growth is happening even when we cannot see it, and that patience is always rewarded. The mountain wind gently guides us away, carrying us across oceans and continents to an island lost in time. We find ourselves on the island of Socotra, a place so unique It looks like it belongs to another planet. The ground is rocky and dry, scattered with limestone and pale dust. The sun is bright here, casting sharp shadows, but there is a cool breeze coming off the Arabian Sea. Here, growing from the rocky crags, are the dragonblood trees. They are unmistakable, their shapes unlike any other tree on Earth. Imagine a giant, overturned umbrella. The trunk is thick and sturdy, rising straight up before dividing into a dense network of branches that curve upward and outward, forming a perfect, flat-topped canopy. From a distance, they look like a fleet of green flying saucers hovering over the landscape, or giant mushrooms made of wood and leaf. Walk beneath the canopy of one of these ancient trees. The shade it provides is deep and refreshing, a sanctuary from the harsh sun. The leaves are long, thin, and stiff, clustered at the very tips of the branches, pointing skyward to catch moisture from the sea mists. The shape of the tree is a masterpiece of adaptation. The dense canopy shades the roots, keeping the soil beneath it cool and moist, creating its own microclimate in the heat. The tree gets its name from the deep red resin it produces, a substance that has been treasured for centuries. But tonight, we are not here for its utility, but for its presence. There is a stoic calmness to the dragonblood tree. It grows slowly, adding only a tiny amount of height each year. Some of the trees around you have stood here for hundreds of years, witnessing the changing of the seasons, the passing of storms, the quiet rotation of the stars. Lean back against the smooth grey trunk. Feel the solidity of the wood. It is warm from the sun. Above you, the intricate web of branches filters the light into dappled patterns that dance on the ground. The wind rustles through the stiff leaves, creating a sound like dry rain. In this alien-looking landscape, you feel a surprising sense of belonging. The strange beauty of the tree invites you to expand your imagination, to accept the unusual as a gift. It reminds you that there are many ways to grow, many shapes a life can take, and all of them are valid. All of them are beautiful in their own way. The scene shifts again, the rocky island fading into a soft green blur. We are moving now to the southern tip of Africa, to a landscape of scrubby bushes and rocky outcrops. We are looking for something much smaller now, something that asks us to look down and pay close attention. We are entering the world of the lithops, the living stones. At first glance, you might miss them entirely. The ground is scattered with pebbles of quartz and granite in shades of grey, brown, and rust. But as you look closer, kneeling on the warm earth, you notice that some of these pebbles are soft. They are alive. These are the lithops, plants that have mastered the art of camouflage so perfectly that they have become indistinguishable from the rocks they grow among. They are small, split into two fleshy leaves that look like a single stone with a cleft down the middle. Their surfaces are patterned with intricate lines and dots, mimicking the texture of the minerals around them. Some are slate grey, others are reddish-brown or creamy beige. They sit flush with the ground, hiding their tender bodies from the drying wind and the grazing animals. Gently, reach out with a finger and touch the top of one. It is smooth and cool, firm but yielding, like a ripe grape. It is a delightful surprise, this softness in a landscape of hard edges. The lithops teach us the value of blending in, of finding safety in stillness and silence. They do not fight their environment. They become one with it. They show us that sometimes the best way to survive is to be quiet, to rest low to the ground, and to keep our true nature safe within. Once a year, in a quiet display of joy, the cleft in the center of the plant opens, and a brilliant yellow or white flower emerges. It is a startling contrast, a burst of delicate life arising from what looked like a stone. But tonight, they are resting. They are just quiet, living pebbles, breathing slowly, absorbing the fading warmth of the afternoon soil. You feel a kinship with them, a desire to simply rest, to be still, to be perfectly content with where you are. As the sun begins to set in our imaginary journey, the light turns golden and syrupy. We travel now to the mist-shrouded forests of Southeast Asia. The air is cooler here, filled with the chatter of unseen birds and the drip of condensation from high branches. We are looking for a flower that defies logic, a flower so large and strange it seems like a phantom. We are searching for the rafflesia. We walk through the dense undergrowth, pushing aside large ferns and stepping over mossy logs. The forest floor is a tapestry of decaying leaves and rich soil, and there, in a clearing, we find it. It has no leaves, no stems, no roots that we can see. It exists as a parasite inside the vines of the forest floor, invisible for most of its life. But when it blooms, it creates the largest single flower on Earth. The bloom before you is massive, 1 meter across, glowing in shades of brick red and speckled with white warts. It sits directly on the forest floor, heavy and imposing. It looks prehistoric, like a leftover from the age of dinosaurs. It has a fleshy, leathery texture. While it is known for a strong scent to attract flies, from this distance, in the cool evening air, it is simply a marvel of scale. There is a mystery to the rafflesia. It spends years, sometimes decades, growing silently inside its host vine, completely unseen. It is a hidden presence, a secret kept by the forest. And then, for just a few days, it bursts forth in this gigantic display of color and form. It reminds us of the hidden potential within all things. Just because we cannot see growth happening doesn't mean it isn't there. Deep within the dark, rich soil of our own lives, things are developing, waiting for the perfect moment to emerge. The forest fades, and the light dims further to a twilight blue. We find ourselves now in a temperate rainforest, perhaps on the coast of the Pacific Northwest, or in the ancient woodlands of Chile. The trees here are tall and draped in hanging moss. Everything is damp and green. We are walking softly on a carpet of pine needles. We are here to find the ghost plant, Monotropa uniflora. In the dim light of the forest floor, they glow like tiny lanterns, clusters of pure, translucent white stems rising from the dark leaf litter. They have no chlorophyll, no green pigment. They do not need the sun. Instead, they draw their energy from a complex partnership with fungi in the soil. They are plants of the shadows, thriving where others cannot. They look delicate, almost made of wax or spun glass. Each stem curves at the top, nodding its single, bell-shaped flower toward the ground. They seem to be bowing in reverence to the earth. Because they are so white and ghostly, they stand out starkly against the browns and greens of the forest. They are silent specters of the woods, beautiful in their pallor. Kneel beside a cluster of them. In the twilight, they seem to have an inner luminescence. They are cool to the touch, fragile. They teach us that there are many ways to live. Not everyone needs to stand in the bright sun. There is beauty and purpose in the shadows, in the quiet corners, in the relationships that sustain us beneath the surface. The ghost plant is a symbol of interdependence, of the hidden web of connections that ties the forest together. It is calm, quiet, and ethereal, a perfect companion for the onset of night. As we leave the ghostly flowers behind, the night fully descends. But it is not a dark, scary night. It is a night filled with wonder. We travel to a hidden cove in a warm, tropical sea. We are not underwater, but standing on the shore, where the jungle meets the ocean. Here, the trees hang over the water, their roots dipping into the gentle tide. Among them grow the Barringtonia, the sea poison tree. These trees are special because they bloom only at night. As the stars come out above, the buds on the tree begin to unravel. They are like fireworks frozen in time. Imagine a puffball of long, silky stamens, white at the base and tipped with pink, exploding outward from a central cup. They look like delicate fiber optic lamps hanging from the branches. The fragrance is intense and sweet, drifting on the sea breeze, mixing with the salt air. Bats and moths flutter silently around the blossoms, drawn to the scent. The flowers open fully in the dark, celebrating the night. And then, by morning, they will fall, carpeting the ground and the surface of the water with pink and white confetti. Standing on this shore, listening to the rhythmic lapping of the waves, watching these nocturnal flowers glow in the starlight, you feel a deep sense of peace. The world is asleep, but nature continues its gentle work. There is a rhythm to everything, a time to open, a time to close, a time to rest. The journey continues, carrying us inland to a savanna landscape, bathed in the silver light of the moon. Here stands the baobab, the tree of life. It is enormous, its trunk incredibly thick and swollen, storing thousands of liters of water. Its branches look like roots reaching up into the sky, as if the tree were planted upside down. The baobab is a survivor. Its bark is grey and smooth, reflecting the moonlight like elephant skin. Some of these trees are thousands of years old. They are hollowed out by time, providing shelter for animals and sometimes even for humans. Standing next to a baobab, you feel the immense weight of its history. It is a fortress of life, a solid, unshakable presence in the vast open plain. It radiates a sense of protection. You can imagine curling up at the base of its massive trunk, sheltered by its bulk, watched over by its ancient spirit. The leaves whisper high above, a gentle rustling that soothes the mind. The baobab tells us that we can endure dry seasons, that we can store what we need within us to survive the long nights. It is a symbol of resilience and resourcefulness, standing tall and proud under the Milky Way. The scene softens, blurring at the edges. We are moving to a cloud forest now, high in the mountains where the clouds touch the ground. It is a world of perpetual mist. The trees here are twisted and gnarled, covered in layers of moss and epiphytes, and here, hanging from the branches, are the monkey orchid, Dracula simia. These are not large plants, but they are delightful. The flowers look uncannily like the face of a monkey. Two dark eyes, a nose, a mouth. Nature has a sense of humor, a sense of playfulness even in its quietest creations. They smell like ripe oranges, a citrusy burst in the cool, damp air. Finding one is like discovering a secret. They hide in the mist, blooming quietly. They remind us to look for joy in the small details, to find the whimsy in the world. Even here, in the cloud-soaked silence, there is character and personality. The mist swirls around you, cool and refreshing, dampening sound, creating a cocoon of white noise that quiets the thoughts. We drift further to the arid lands of Mexico to find the walking palm, Socratea exoriza. Well, perhaps we find it in the rainforests of Central America, where it stands on its stilt-like roots. The trunk does not touch the ground directly. Instead, it is supported by a cone of strong, woody roots that look like legs. Legend says that this tree can walk, shifting its position slowly over time to move toward better light by growing new roots on one side and letting the old ones die. Whether it truly walks or simply leans, the image is powerful. A tree that refuses to be stuck, that slowly, patiently adjusts its stance to find what it needs. In the moonlight, the stilt roots cast long, intricate shadows on the forest floor. The tree looks poised, balanced, elegant. It teaches us about adaptability. If we are not in the right place, we can move. Slowly, patiently. We can grow new support systems, reach for new ground, and shift our perspective toward the light. There is no need for drastic action, just a slow, steady adjustment of our footing. The forest floor here is soft and deep. You can imagine lying down on a bed of moss, looking up through the stilt roots of the walking palm at the stars filtering through the canopy. The air is still. The only sound is the slow, rhythmic breathing of the forest. Every leaf, every branch, every root is part of a living, breathing whole. We move now to a landscape that seems almost underwater, though it is on land. We are in a valley filled with Senecio kilimanjari, the giant groundsels of Mount Kilimanjaro. These plants look like they belong in a Dr. Seuss book. Thick, woody trunks topped with rosettes of giant, cabbage-like leaves. They grow in a prehistoric landscape of volcanic rock and mist. They stand in groups, like silent guardians of the mountain. As the temperature drops at night, the leaves curl inward, closing up to protect the delicate buds in the center from the frost. They hug themselves tight. It is a gesture of self-care, of protection. Walking among them in the pale moonlight feels like walking through a sculpture garden of giants. They are ancient, slow-growing, persisting in a harsh environment by protecting their core. They remind us to be gentle with ourselves, to close up when we need to protect our inner warmth when the world gets cold. They stand together, a community of survivors on the misty slopes. The mist thickens, wrapping everything in a soft white embrace. The shapes of the giant groundsels fade into silhouettes, then into shadows. You are floating now, drifting through the botanical wonders of the world, weightless and free. We are traveling to the desolate, beautiful landscape of the Canary Islands to see the dragon tree's cousin, the majestic Dracana Draco. It stands on a cliff overlooking the ocean, its umbrella shape perfectly adapted to catch the moisture from the sea breeze. The bark is scarred and textured, telling stories of centuries of wind and sun. The sound of the ocean below is a rhythmic, soothing roar. Waves crashing against the rocks, retreating and crashing again. The tree stands firm, rooted in the stone, drinking in the salt spray. It is a watcher of the tides. Being near it, you feel the connection between the land and the sea, the earth and the water. The journey slows. We are entering a garden of mosses now. Not a specific exotic location, but a microscopic world that exists everywhere. Japan's moss gardens are famous for their serenity, and we are stepping into one now. The ground is a velvet carpet of deep, lush green. Marimo moss balls, though usually aquatic, remind us of this velvety texture. But here, on the forest floor, the moss covers everything: stones, roots, fallen logs, softening the hard edges of the world. Lie down in your mind on this bed of moss. It is infinitely soft, conforming to the shape of your body. It smells of deep, rich earth and rain. It is cool and damp. Moss is an ancient plant, simple and resilient. It doesn't have deep roots. It drinks directly through its leaves. It requires shade and moisture and quiet. In this mossy sanctuary, sounds are dampened. The world feels muffled and close. It is a place of absolute stillness. You can look closely at the tiny structures of the moss, the little fern-like fronds, the tiny capsules reaching up. It is a miniature forest within a forest, a world within a world. Focus on the color green, the deep, restful green of the moss. It is the color of the heart chakra, the color of balance and harmony. Breathing in, you imagine this green energy filling your lungs, spreading through your body, relaxing every muscle, every nerve. Breathing out, you release any tension, sinking deeper into the soft, mossy ground. We drift from the moss garden to a quiet pond where the Nelumbo nucifera, the sacred lotus, grows. The leaves stand high above the water, circular and cupped. The flowers are pink and white, pristine and perfect, rising from the muddy bottom of the pond. The lotus is a symbol of purity and rebirth. At night, the flower closes, petal by petal, creating a tight bud that rests above the water. It sleeps, just like you are preparing to do. It withdraws its beauty for a time, conserving its energy for the morning sun. Watch as a single drop of water rolls around on the surface of a lotus leaf. It moves like mercury, shimmering and silver, never wetting the leaf, just gliding across it. It is a moment of pure, fluid motion. The drop comes to rest in the center of the leaf, a perfect, trembling jewel. The pond is still, the air is quiet, the lotus stands motionless. You are part of this stillness. Your breath matches the calm surface of the water. No ripples, no disturbances, just peace. We travel now to the high deserts of North America to find the Joshua tree, Yucca brevifolia. With their twisted, spiky branches reaching up toward the sky, they look like figures frozen in prayer or dance. In the moonlight, their silhouettes are dramatic and strange. They grow in groves, creating a unique, open forest. The space between the trees is filled with silence. The desert air is crystal clear, allowing the stars to shine with diamond brilliance. The Joshua tree is a plant of endurance, thriving where few others can. It grows slowly, twisting and turning as it ages, each bend a record of its history. Standing among them, you feel a sense of timelessness. The desert stretches out in all directions, silver and grey in the night. The trees stand like silent companions, witnesses to the night. There is nothing to do here but breathe. The dry, cool air fills your lungs, cleansing and purifying. The landscape begins to blur again, the sharp outlines of the Joshua trees softening into the background. We are moving toward a place of pure fantasy made real, the wisteria tunnels of Japan. Imagine walking through a tunnel created by cascading vines of purple and white flowers. It is night, and the flowers hang down like long, fragrant stalactites. The scent is intoxicating, sweet, floral, and heavy in the humid air. It is a sensory immersion. Above you, the twisted woody vines create a ceiling, and from them, the flower clusters dangle, brushing against your face as you walk. The color is a pale lavender in the moonlight. It is a tunnel of dreams. The ground beneath is carpeted with fallen petals, soft and fragrant. Walking here feels like walking inside a flower. It is safe, enclosed, and beautiful. The world outside the tunnel does not exist. There is only the scent of wisteria, the soft purple light, and the feeling of peace. Every step takes you deeper into relaxation. The tunnel seems to go on forever, a path of flowers leading you towards sleep. The petals fall gently around you, a slow purple rain. You feel heavy, relaxed, content. As we emerge from the tunnel, we find ourselves in a bamboo forest. The stalks are tall, straight, and green, reaching up endlessly. They grow close together, creating a dense wall of green. The wind moves through the bamboo, creating a distinctive sound, a hollow, wooden clacking and rustling. Clack, shh, clack, shh. It is a rhythmic, hypnotic sound. The bamboo sways gently in the breeze, flexible and strong. It bends but does not break. Light filters through the leaves in shifting patterns. The air is fresh and green. Walking through the bamboo grove, you feel a sense of verticality, of lifting up. But your body feels grounded, rooted like the bamboo. You are flexible, able to sway with the winds of life. But your center is strong and still. The sound of the bamboo is like a natural metronome, slowing your heartbeat, slowing your thoughts. We are drifting now, further and deeper into the world of unusual plants. We float toward the coast of Socotra again, but this time to look at the desert rose, Adenium obesum. It looks like a small baobab with a swollen trunk, but it is covered in delicate pink flowers. It grows directly out of the rock, a burst of softness in a hard landscape. It reminds us that softness and strength can coexist, that beauty can flourish in the most unlikely places. The pink flowers glow in the starlight, cheerful and bright against the grey stone. It is a happy plant, a plant that celebrates life. As we linger here for a moment, take a deep breath. Smell the salt air, the dry earth, the faint floral scent. The journey is long, and there is so much more to see. But there is no rush. We have all the time in the world. the plants we have met so far, the welwitschia, the water lily, the puya, the dragon tree, the lithops, the rafflesia, the ghost plant, the barringtonia, the baobab, the monkey orchid, the walking palm, the giant groundsel, the lotus, the Joshua tree, the wisteria, the bamboo, the desert rose, they are all with us now. They form a garden in your mind, a sanctuary of the unusual and the beautiful. They are your companions in the night, standing guard over your rest. They have shared their secrets of patience, of silence, of endurance, and now they invite you to continue the journey, to drift deeper into the botanical dreamscape, where even stranger and more wonderful forms await. The path ahead is soft and shadowy. The light is dim and restful. You are walking on air, on moss, on clouds. The transition is seamless as we move toward the next chapter of our voyage, deeper into the heart of nature's quiet mysteries. As the path continues, the ground beneath your feet changes texture once again. We are leaving the lushness of the bamboo forest behind, moving seamlessly across the globe to a place of profound stillness and elevation. The air grows thin and pure, carrying a crisp chill that wakes the senses in a gentle, refreshing way. We find ourselves standing inside the vast, silent caldera of a dormant volcano on the island of Maui. This is the House of the Sun, Haleakala. The landscape here is like the surface of the moon, expansive, covered in rust-colored cinders and dark lava stones. It is a place of quiet majesty, floating above the cloud layer. And here, in this high-altitude silence, lives the silversword, Argyroxiphium sanguiscens. It is a plant that seems forged from starlight and metal rather than organic matter. Picture a perfect sphere of sword-like leaves, hundreds of them, radiating outward from a central point. They are stiff and curved, shimmering with a brilliant metallic silver hue. This silver is not just a color, it is a coat of tiny silky hairs that protect the plant from the intense mountain sun and capture the moisture from the drifting clouds. In the moonlight, the silversword glows with an ethereal luminescence, appearing like a terrestrial star anchored in the volcanic soil. Kneel beside one of these radiant spheres. It sits low to the ground, a compact marvel of geometry. If you were to touch a leaf, it would feel soft, almost like felt, despite its sharp appearance. The silversword lives for decades in this rosette form, slowly gathering energy, growing larger and more impressive with each passing year. It is a master of patience, waiting up to 50 years for its final act. When that time comes, it sends up a massive stalk, covered in hundreds of sunflower-like blooms in shades of maroon and yellow. But tonight, we see it in its long phase of quiet preparation. It rests in the crater, silent and silver, reflecting the cosmos above. Being near it, you feel a sense of clarity. The emptiness of the crater is not lonely, it is spacious. It allows your mind to expand, to let go of clutter, mirroring the clean, sharp lines of the silversword against the dark volcanic earth. The volcanic mist begins to swirl around your ankles, carrying us away from the crater and dropping us gently into a warm, humid grove in the Philippines. The light here is dappled and soft, filtered through a high canopy. As you look around, you notice the trunks of the trees. They are not brown or grey, but a stunning canvas of living colour. These are the rainbow eucalyptus, Eucalyptus deglupta. Imagine a forest of paintings. The bark of these tall, straight trees peels away in long, vertical strips. As the old bark sheds, it reveals the fresh, bright green bark underneath. Over time, this green matures into shades of blue, purple, orange, and maroon. Because the bark peels at different times on different parts of the trunk, the tree becomes a vertical mosaic of pastel hues. Walk slowly through this painted forest. The colors are vibrant, yet soothing, like a watercolor painting left out in the rain. Streaks of neon green fade into deep lavender. Patches of rust orange blend into calming slate blue. It looks almost impossible, as if a giant artist had brushed every trunk with a joyful palette. The trees smell fresh, a clean scent of eucalyptus and rain that clears the mind. Touch the trunk of the nearest tree. The surface is smooth and cool, slick with moisture. Run your fingers over the edges where the bark is peeling. It feels like smooth paper. The visual beauty of the rainbow eucalyptus brings a sense of lightness to the spirit. It reminds us that nature is full of surprises, that it is capable of playfulness and artistry. Standing here, surrounded by these pillars of color, you feel a sense of wonder washing over you, brightening the corners of your mind before settling into a colorful, peaceful calm. We drift on, following the scent of damp earth to a quiet clearing in the undergrowth of a South American rainforest. We are looking for a plant that is not famous for its size or its color, but for its sensitivity. At your feet grows a small, unassuming plant with delicate, fern-like leaves. This is Mimosa pudica, the sensitive plant. It looks like a little scattering of green feathers on the forest floor. The leaves are divided into tiny leaflets, arranged in perfect symmetry. But this plant has a secret. It can move. It can feel. Gently, in your imagination, reach out and brush the tip of your finger against one of the leaves. Watch closely. The moment you touch it, a wave of motion ripples through the plant. The tiny leaflets fold inward, snapping shut like the pages of a book closing. The branchlet droops slightly, pulling away from your touch. It is a shy reaction, a gentle retreat. It is the plant saying, "I am resting now." There is something incredibly touching about this interaction. It creates a connection between you and the plant that feels almost personal. Wait a few moments in the stillness. Slowly, very slowly, as the plant realizes there is no danger, the leaves begin to unfurl again. They open back up to the light, brave once more. This cycle of closing and opening is hypnotic. You can imagine your own thoughts responding in the same way. When a worry touches your mind, you can gently acknowledge it, let it fold up and drift away, leaving you in a state of open, quiet receptivity. The sensitive plant teaches us the wisdom of retreat, the importance of protecting our energy, and the resilience to open up again when the moment is right. Leaving the shy mimosa, we travel to a boggy landscape where the ground is spongy and wet. The sun is low, casting long golden rays across the moss. Here, glistening like jewels in the grass, are the sundews, the drosera. These are small carnivorous plants, but tonight we view them not as hunters, but as jewelers of the natural world. Each leaf of the sundew is covered in tiny red tentacles, and at the tip of each tentacle sits a perfect spherical drop of clear liquid. In the light, these droplets sparkle like diamonds or beads of glass. The plant looks like it is covered in morning dew that never evaporates. It is a dazzling display of light and liquid. Bend down to examine one closely. The geometry is exquisite. The red tentacles spiral outward from the center of the plant, creating a starburst shape. The droplets are sticky, like honey, waiting to catch small insects. But to our eyes, they are simply beautiful. They catch the light and refract it, creating tiny rainbows. There is a stillness to the sundew. It waits with infinite patience. It does not chase, it attracts. It sits in its boggy home, glistening, trusting that what it needs will come to it. The sight of these hundreds of tiny sparkling plants scattered across the dark soil is magical, like a constellation of stars fallen to earth. It invites you to admire the small details, to find the preciousness in the minute. The landscape shifts, the bog dissolving into the hanging vines of a Philippine rainforest once more. We are looking up now, into the canopy. Suspended from the dark, woody vines are clusters of flowers with a color so rare in the plant world, it seems artificial. These are the jade vines, Strongylodon macroba trees. Imagine long, heavy chains of flowers hanging down like chandeliers from the trees. Each individual flower is curved like the claw of a bird or the crescent moon. And the color, it is a luminous, glowing turquoise. A blue-green shade that is almost impossible to describe, like the color of a tropical lagoon or a piece of polished jade stone. In the dim light of the forest, these flowers seem to emit their own ghostly light. They hang perfectly still in the humid air. Reach up and touch one of the cool, waxy petals. It feels smooth and substantial. The vines drape elegantly, creating curtains of turquoise against the deep green of the forest. Walking beneath a canopy of jade vines feels like walking through an underwater palace. The color is cooling to the eyes, soothing to the spirit. Blue and green are the colors of rest, of water, of healing. As you gaze at these hanging garlands, you feel a sense of heavy, pleasant relaxation settling into your shoulders. Gravity pulls gently on the vines, and it pulls gently on you, inviting you to lie down, to let go, to surrender to the pull of the earth. We travel now to the Indian subcontinent, to a place that feels less like a forest and more like a temple made of wood. We are standing before the great banyan tree, Ficus bengalensis. This is not just a tree, it is a forest of one. A single tree that has spread outward, dropping aerial roots from its branches that reach down to the ground, thicken and become new trunks. The result is a labyrinth of wooden pillars, all connected to the same central life source. The canopy above is vast, a continuous roof of green leaves that filters the sun into soft green shafts of light. Walking into the banyan is like entering a great hall. It is cool, dark, and silent. The sound of the outside world is baffled by the layers of roots and leaves. Wander through the corridors of trunks. Some are thick and ancient, gnarled with age. Others are slender and young, just establishing their connection to the earth. The ground is bare and swept clean, covered in a fine dust. It feels sacred here. The banyan is a symbol of eternal life, of expansion, of shelter. Find a space between the pillar roots and sit down. Lean against one of the trunks. You are held in the embrace of a living organism that has stood for centuries. It is a sanctuary of safety. The tree protects you from the wind, the sun, the rain. It creates a space of pure existence. You can feel the slow, steady pulse of sap moving through the wood, a rhythm much slower than your heartbeat, dragging you down into a deeper, slower state of being. The banyan teaches us that we are connected, that we can expand and grow while staying rooted, that we can build our own sanctuary wherever we are. The scene fades from the grand to the humble. We find ourselves in a dry, arid desert, perhaps in the Chihuahuan Desert or the Middle East. The ground is cracked and parched. Resting on the sand is a dry, brown ball of curled up stems. It looks dead, a tumbleweed waiting for the wind. This is the Rose of Jericho, Selaginella lepidophylla, the resurrection plant. It has been waiting for rain for months, maybe years. It is completely dormant, curled in on itself to preserve the tiniest spark of life at its core. It looks brittle, fragile. But watch what happens as a gentle rain begins to fall in our imagination. The drops hit the dry soil and the dry plant. Almost immediately, the miracle begins. As the water touches the brown, curled stems, they begin to move. They absorb the moisture greedily. Slowly, the ball begins to unfurl. The brown turns to a lush, vibrant green. The stems spread out flat against the ground, forming a beautiful, fern-like rosette. It is waking up. It is returning to life. This transformation happens within hours. It is a quiet spectacle of resilience. The plant was never dead. It was just waiting. It held onto its potential through the long drought, trusting that the water would return. Watching the Rose of Jericho open is deeply reassuring. It reminds us that we too have reserves of strength we might not know about, that after dry periods, there is always renewal, that rest is sometimes necessary for survival, and that waking up can be a gentle, natural process, the rain stops and the desert fades. We travel now to the lush orchards of Brazil to see a tree that looks like it has been decorated by a playful spirit. This is the jabuticaba, Plinia cauliflora. Most fruit trees bear their gifts on the ends of their branches, among the leaves. But the jabuticaba is different. It grows its flowers and fruit directly on the trunk and the main branches. Imagine a tree with pale, flaky bark, completely covered in dark purple spheres. From the base of the trunk all the way up into the canopy, it looks like thousands of dark grapes have been glued to the wood. It is a surprising sight, a texture that defies expectation. The fruits are glossy and round, clustered tightly together. In the flowering season, the tree looks like it is covered in white fuzz as thousands of tiny white blossoms emerge from the bark. Now, laden with fruit, it looks heavy and bountiful. There is something grounding about the fruit growing so close to the core of the tree. It doesn't dangle precariously. It is held close, supported by the strongest part of the plant. It suggests a kind of abundance that is secure and accessible. Visualize reaching out and plucking a fruit from the trunk. It comes away easily. The tree offers its sweetness without making you reach high or climb. It is generous, stable, and uniquely beautiful. We move from the orchard to the shadows of the Southeast Asian understory once again. We are looking for something mysterious, something that thrives in the dim light. We find the blackbat flower, Takachantrieri. This is a flower of the shadows. It is not bright or colorful in the traditional sense. Its petals are a deep, dark purple, almost black. They are shaped like the wings of a bat in flight, broad and velvety. From the center of the flower, long thread-like whiskers hang down, trailing almost to the ground. It looks like a creature from a fairy tale, dark and elegant. The texture of the petals is lush, like heavy velvet fabric. It absorbs the light rather than reflecting it. There is a quiet dignity to the bat flower. It does not compete for attention with the bright orchids or the flashy hibiscus. It commands attention through its mystery. In the stillness of the forest floor, the long whiskers sway gently in the slightest draft of air. They look like sensors, feeling the environment. The flower seems to be listening. Being near it, you feel a hush fall over your mind. It draws you into the quiet, into the dark, comforting spaces where rest is found. It reminds you that darkness is not empty. It is rich, velvety, and full of beauty. It is the place where dreams are made. We leave the shadows and travel to the warm, rhythmic shores of the Seychelles Islands in the Indian Ocean. Here, in the Vallée de Mai, grows the legendary coco de mer, Lodoicea maldivica. These are giant palms towering over the forest, their fronds clattering softly in the ocean breeze. But the true wonder of this tree is its seed. The coco de mer produces the largest and heaviest seed in the plant kingdom. Imagine a double coconut, massive and heavy, shaped like a pair of lungs or a pelvis. It is a biological marvel of weight and substance. These seeds take years to mature, hanging heavily from the palms. Walking through a grove of coco de mer is a sensory experience. The palms are huge, their fan-shaped leaves catching the wind with a sound like heavy paper crinkling and shuffling. Swish, rustle, swish, rustle. It is a loud, comforting white noise, the sound of nature in motion. The trunks are slender and tall, swaying slightly. The ground is covered in dry leaves. The air is thick with the scent of the sea and tropical vegetation. Standing beneath these giants, you feel the scale of nature. The heaviness of the seeds suggests a deep, anchoring gravity. You feel your own body becoming heavy, sinking into the earth, anchored like the giant palm. From the heavy palms, we drift to the fragrant gardens of the Andes, where the angel's trumpet, Brugmansia, grows. These are large shrubs or small trees, covered in hundreds of pendulous trumpet-shaped flowers. They hang straight down, like bells waiting to be rung. The flowers are huge, sometimes a foot long, in shades of peach, white, yellow, or pink. During the day, they are beautiful but silent. But as night falls, they wake up. They release a powerful, sweet perfume that fills the night air. It is a scent that is almost narcotic in its richness, heavy with notes of lemon, musk, and sugar. Stand under an angel's trumpet tree in the moonlight. The flowers glow softly, swinging gently in the breeze. They look like lanterns lighting the path to sleep. The scent surrounds you, a cloud of relaxation. It is hypnotic. You breathe it in, and your eyelids feel heavier. The downward shape of the flowers draws your energy down, from your head to your feet, grounding you, preparing you for rest. We move now to the forests of Australia to see a fern that looks like it belongs on a wall of trophies. The staghorn fern, Platycerium. It grows not on the ground, but high up in the crooks of trees. It is an epiphyte, gathering its nutrients from the air and the rain. It has two types of fronds. The base fronds are round and flat, hugging the tree trunk like a shield. They turn brown with age, forming a nest that collects falling leaves and water. From this center, the fertile fronds emerge. They are green, leathery, and branching, looking exactly like the antlers of a stag. They arch out gracefully from the tree, creating magnificent green sculptures in the canopy. They look proud and ancient. The staghorn fern creates its own soil, its own ecosystem high above the ground. It is a symbol of independence and adaptation. Seeing these massive green antlers suspended in the shadowy forest, you appreciate the variety of forms life can take. It is a quiet, architectural beauty balanced perfectly on the branch. We travel inland to the dry scrub of Queensland to find the Queensland bottle tree, Brachycheton rupestris. This tree is a survivor of the dry lands. Its trunk is not a straight cylinder, but swollen and bulbous, shaped exactly like a giant bottle. The bark is grey and fissured. Inside the swollen trunk, the tree stores vast amounts of water, a hidden reservoir that keeps it alive during the long droughts. It tapers at the top, erupting into a canopy of narrow, delicate leaves. The bottle tree looks friendly, almost cartoonish in its shape. It looks like a character standing in the landscape. It is solid, full, and self-sufficient. Standing next to one, you can sense the water held within, the life force preserved inside the wood. It radiates a calm assurance. It knows it has what it needs. It teaches us that we too have inner resources. We are reservoirs of calm, holding a deep well of peace within us that we can draw upon whenever the world is dry. We return briefly to the alien landscape of Socotra to see another oddity, the cucumber tree, Dendrocitios socotranus. It is the only melon plant that grows as a tree. It has a thick, swollen, white trunk that looks like a giant candle or a column of elephant legs. At the top, a few sparse branches hold prickly leaves and small yellow flowers. It looks improbable, a vegetable trying to be a tree. The white trunk glows in the moonlight, ghostly and strange against the rocky hills. It is a plant that has evolved in isolation, following its own unique path. It stands alone, comfortable in its strangeness. It invites you to embrace your own uniqueness, to stand tall in your own way, no matter how different you may feel. Finally, for this part of our journey, we shrink our perspective down to the microscopic. We are looking at the surface of a still, quiet pond. Covering the water is a bright green carpet. This is Wolffia, or duckweed. It is the smallest flowering plant on Earth. Each plant is a tiny green dot, smaller than a grain of rice. They have no roots, no stems, just a tiny green body floating on the water. Millions of them together form a seamless blanket of green. It looks like a solid surface, soft and inviting. Imagine trailing your hand through the water. The tiny plants part around your fingers, fluid and gentle, then slowly drift back together, to heal the gap. They are simple, uncomplicated. They float. They do not struggle against gravity. They are buoyed by the water. Looking at this expanse of green, you feel a sense of unity. Countless tiny individuals creating a single, peaceful whole. It is a vision of pure calm. The water supports them, just as your bed supports you now. Floating, drifting, weightless. The journey through these botanical wonders has taken us from the heights of volcanic craters to the surface of quiet ponds. We have seen plants that shine like silver, plants that paint themselves, plants that move, and plants that wait. Each one has shared a piece of its quiet wisdom. The world is vast and filled with silent life. And as we move forward, deeper into the night, the distinction between the dreamer and the dream begins to fade. The garden of your mind is lush and full, a safe haven where you can wander endlessly. The path continues to unfurl before us, soft and inviting. The air is still. The plants stand guard. And we drift on, ready to discover what lies in the next quiet corner of the earth. Here is part 3 of the script for a calm journey through Earth's most unusual plants. Documentary for sleep. From the quiet surface of the water, we lift gently into the air, carried by a breeze that smells of autumn leaves and crisp mountain air. We are traveling now to the high elevations of Utah, to a forest that holds a profound secret. As you look out over the landscape, you see thousands of trees with white bark and fluttering golden leaves. This is the quaking aspen, Populus tremuloides. But this particular grove is special. It is known as Pando, the trembling giant. While it looks like a forest of 47,000 individual trees, it is in fact a single living organism. Every trunk you see, every branch, every shimmering leaf is connected by a massive ancient root system underground. They are genetically identical, all stems arising from one single seed that took root perhaps 80,000 years ago. Walk among the white trunks. They stand like pillars of a natural cathedral. The bark is smooth and powdery, marked with black scars that look like watching eyes. But the true magic of the aspen is the sound. The leaf stems are flat, which allows the leaves to tremble in the slightest breeze. Listen. Shh, shh, shh. It is a soft, rushing sound, like a distant waterfall or gentle rain. It is the forest whispering to itself. Because they are all one organism, when the wind blows, the entire hillside shimmers in unison. A wave of gold ripples across the landscape. Standing in the heart of Pando, you feel a deep sense of connection. You are surrounded by a family that never separates. Beneath your feet, the roots are holding hands in the dark earth, sharing water, sharing nutrients, supporting one another. If one tree is thirsty, the others help. It is a vision of perfect community, of oneness. You breathe in the cool air, feeling the stability of this ancient giant. You are never truly alone. Life is a web of connection, just like the roots of the aspen. The golden light of the aspen grove fades into the deep, saturated green of a tropical island. We are back in Madagascar, a land of botanical oddities. Standing tall against a blue sky is the traveler's palm, Ravenala madagascariensis. Despite its name, it is not a true palm, but a distant relative of the banana. Its shape is instantly recognizable and deeply satisfying to the eye. The enormous leaves fan out in a single plane, creating a perfect, giant semicircle. It looks like a peacock's tail made of green feathers, or a colossal hand fan held up to cool the sky. The symmetry is flawless. The trunk is sturdy and ringed. The long stems of the leaves trap rainwater at their base, creating hidden reservoirs. Legend says that thirsty travelers could find water here, drinking from the cup of the plant. Whether true or not, the image is comforting. The plant is a provider, a host. Stand at the base of the fan and look up. The leaves are arranged in an orderly fashion, east to west. catching the sun as it travels across the sky. It brings a sense of order to the wild jungle. Amidst the chaos of vines and undergrowth, the traveler's palm stands composed, balanced, and geometric. It reminds you that there is a rhythm to nature, a structure that holds everything together. You feel your own internal structure aligning, your spine lengthening, your breath becoming even and rhythmic like the fanned leaves. We leave the order of the fan and travel to the arid highlands of Mexico to meet a plant that defies the prickly nature of its home. We are looking for the old man cactus, Cephalotyreus senilis. In a landscape of sharp spines and hard rocks, this cactus looks like a soft white cloud. It is a columnar cactus growing straight up, but it is completely covered in long, shaggy white hair. This hair is actually modified spines, evolved to protect the plant from the intense sun and to trap moisture. But to our eyes, it looks like the beard of a wise old wizard or a coat of soft wool. The cactus clusters grow together, looking like a gathering of snowy figures in the desert. They look gentle, approachable. In your mind, reach out and touch the white locks. They feel soft, like cotton or fleece, hiding the sharp yellow spines beneath. There is a tenderness to the old man cactus. It has found a way to create its own softness in a harsh world. It wraps itself in a blanket of protection. As the desert night cools down, the white hairs seem to glow in the moonlight, creating a ghostly, serene atmosphere. It stands as a reminder that we can protect our sensitivity, that we can remain soft even when the conditions around us are tough. It is a grandfather of the desert, silent and enduring. From the dry desert, we slip into a manicured English garden at twilight. The air is cool and smells of damp soil and roses. We are looking for a flower that speaks directly to the emotions. Hanging from a delicate arching stem are the blooms of the bleeding heart, Lamprocapnos spectabilis. The flowers are dangling lockets of pink and white. They are shaped perfectly like a heart. At the bottom of the heart, a small drop of white hangs down, looking like a tear. It is a flower of exquisite, almost heartbreaking beauty. They hang in a row along the stem, like charms on a bracelet. They look fragile, swaying gently in the evening breeze. The pink is soft and dusty, the white pure and bright. There is a vulnerability to this plant. It wears its heart on its sleeve, quite literally. Watching them sway, you feel a gentle release of emotion. It is okay to feel. It is okay to be open. The bleeding heart blooms in the cool of spring, a sign of renewal and feeling. As the darkness gathers in the garden, the pink hearts seem to dim, retreating into the night. They are little lanterns of love, going out one by one, inviting you to close your own heart for the night, to rest it in safety. We move deeper into the garden to find a vine climbing a trellis. It is the passion flower, passiflora. This flower is a study in complexity. It looks like it was designed by a mathematician or a clockmaker. The base of the flower is a circle of flat petals, usually white or pale purple. On top of this sits a fringe of filaments, like a corona or a tutu, striped in purple and white, and rising from the center is a complex structure of stamens and stigmas that looks like a radio antenna or the hands of a clock. It is almost too intricate to be real. It looks like a mandala, a sacred geometric pattern. Stare into the center of the passion flower. The symmetry draws the eye inward. It is mesmerizing. The vine uses small, spiraling tendrils to hold onto the trellis. These tendrils are like springs, coiled and flexible. The passion flower is a world unto itself. It evolved this complexity to attract specific pollinators, but for us, it is a symbol of the wonder of creation. It invites you to focus your attention, to lose yourself in the details. As you trace the lines of purple and white, your mind quiets. The complexity resolves into a simple feeling of awe. The clock of the flower stands still. Time stops here in the garden. There is no ticking, only blooming. We leave the garden behind and travel to the humid, rain-soaked hills of Meghalaya in India. We are not looking for a single plant here, but for a structure created from living nature. We are standing before a living root bridge. This is a partnership between the Ficus elastica, the rubber tree, and the indigenous people of the region. For centuries, people have guided the aerial roots of these massive trees across rivers, weaving them together until they form a solid, living bridge. The bridge you see is not built, it is grown. It is covered in moss and ferns. The roots are thick and gnarled, interlocking like muscular arms. Walk across this living bridge in your imagination. It feels solid beneath your feet, but there is a slight bounce, a reminder that you are walking on life. Below you, the river rushes over stones, white noise that soothes the mind. Above, the canopy of the rubber tree provides a roof of green. Some of these bridges are hundreds of years old. They get stronger with time, not weaker. They are a testament to patience and foresight. They were started by grandparents for their grandchildren. Standing in the middle of the bridge, suspended over the water, you feel supported by generations of care, by the strength of the earth itself. It is a pathway of connection, bridging the gap between banks, between people, between nature and humanity. It is a safe passage. The sound of the river fades, replaced by the rhythmic crashing of ocean waves. We are at the edge of the sea, but not on a sandy beach. We are in a mangrove forest. These are the trees that walk on water. Rhizophora. The roots of the mangrove arch out from the trunk high above the water, plunging down into the mud like the legs of a giant spider or a scaffold. They form a tangled, impenetrable maze. At high tide, the roots are submerged, and the trees look like they are floating. At low tide, the muddy floor is revealed, and the trees look like they are standing on stilts. The water here is calm, protected by the barrier of roots. It is a nursery for fish and crabs. The air is thick with the smell of salt and organic life. Light reflects off the water, casting dancing ripples on the undersides of the leaves. There is a deep stillness in the mangrove swamp. It is a liminal space, neither fully land nor fully sea. It is a place of transition. The trees are experts at filtration, pulling fresh water from the salt. They teach us about filtering out what we don't need, about finding balance in shifting tides. The tangled roots create a sense of protection, a barrier against the rough open ocean. You are safe here in the quiet, shallow waters. We drift away from the coast, sinking down beneath the surface of the ocean. The light turns a beautiful, filtering blue. We are hovering over a meadow of seagrass, Posidonia oceanica. This is not seaweed. It is a flowering plant that returned to the sea. The blades of grass are long, bright green ribbons, waving gently in the current. Back and forth, back and forth. The motion is perfectly rhythmic, synchronized with the pulse of the ocean. It is the most relaxing sight imaginable. Imagine lying down in this underwater meadow. You can breathe here in this dream space. The water supports you completely. You are weightless. The grass brushes softly against your arms. Schools of silver fish dart through the green ribbons. Some of these seagrass meadows are thousands of years old, huge clones expanding slowly across the seafloor. They are ancient and peaceful. Watching the grass sway, your breathing naturally slows to match the rhythm. In and out. Sway left, sway right. The ocean holds you. The silence is absolute, muffled by the water. It is a world of slow-motion grace. We rise from the depths, breaking the surface and drying off in the warm sun of the southern hemisphere. We are in the ancient forests of Chile or Argentina, standing at the foot of a living fossil. The monkey puzzle tree, Araucaria araucana. This tree looks like it belongs in the time of dinosaurs, and it does. It has hardly changed for millions of years. The branches grow in symmetrical whorls around the trunk. They are covered in stiff, triangular leaves that are sharp and scale-like, overlapping like armor or the skin of a reptile. The tree has a distinctive umbrella shape, tall and grand. It looks prehistoric, geometric and strange. It stands stiff and proud against the wind. The bark is thick and wrinkled, like an elephant's leg. Touch a branch carefully. The leaves are hard and waxy. This tree is built for survival, built to withstand volcanoes and ice ages. It radiates a sense of deep time. Standing next to it, your own worries feel very small, very temporary. The monkey puzzle tree has seen continents shift. It has seen mountains rise. It stands as a stoic witness to the history of the world. It offers a perspective of endurance and stability that is deeply grounding. We leave the ancient giants and travel to a smaller, more intimate scale. We find a plant climbing a rock wall in a tropical garden. It is the wax plant, Hoya. The leaves are thick, green and fleshy, but it is the flowers that captivate us. They hang in clusters shaped like perfect half-spheres. Each individual flower is a star. A 5-pointed star made of what looks like white porcelain or pink wax. In the center of each star is a smaller, darker star, looking like a jewel setting. They look artificial because they are so perfect. They shine with a waxy luster. Reach out and touch one. It is firm and cool, smooth as polished stone. They release a sweet scent, especially at night, smelling like chocolate or vanilla. The geometric perfection of the Hoya is soothing to the mind. It is precise, orderly, and beautiful. The stars cluster together in harmony. It reminds us of the geometry of the cosmos, the stars in the sky mirrored in the flowers on the vine. It is a little constellation of comfort, growing quietly on the wall. From the stars of the vine, we look to a plant that mimics the stars of the sea. We are looking at the starfish cactus, or carrion flower, Stapelia. It is a succulent from South Africa. It has thick, green stems that look like cactus, but without the sharp spines. They feel like velvet. The flower lies flat on the ground or against the pot. It is large, shaped exactly like a 5-pointed starfish. The texture is wrinkled and hairy, colored in shades of pale yellow with reddish-brown stripes, looking like animal skin or a sea creature. While it is known for a pungent scent to attract flies, in the cool night air, the scent is faint. We focus on its form. It is strange, almost alien. A starfish stranded in the desert. The soft hairs on the petals tremble in the breeze. It is a reminder that nature repeats its patterns. The star shape appears in the sky, in the sea, and on the dry earth. Everything is connected. The strangeness of the plant is part of its charm. It doesn't try to be a rose. It is perfectly itself, soft and furry and odd. We move to a landscape of grey and blue. We are in the mountains of New Zealand, searching for the silver fern, Cyathea dialbata. This is a tree fern, growing tall with a trunk made of fibrous roots. The fronds spread out like a canopy above us. From the top, the fronds are a deep, rich green, but we are standing beneath them. Looking up, we see the undersides. They are a brilliant, glowing silver white. In the moonlight, the fern looks like it is made of frosted glass or sterling silver. The Maori people use these silver fronds to guide their way at night as they catch the moonlight and illuminate the path. Tonight, they guide us towards sleep. The silver glow is cool and calming. The fronds sway gently, flashing silver, then green, then silver again. It is a natural beacon of safety. Imagine walking through a dark forest, guided only by the silver light of the ferns. It is a magical path. The air smells of fern spores and damp earth. The silence of the New Zealand bush is profound, broken only by the call of a kiwi bird or the rustle of the wind. The silver fern watches over you, a glowing guardian of the night. We travel now to a vegetable garden, but one that looks like a gallery of mathematics. We are looking at a head of Romanesco broccoli. It is a chartreuse green, glowing in the soft light. Look closely at its structure. It is a fractal. The whole head is made of smaller cones arranged in a spiral. Each smaller cone is made of even smaller cones, arranged in the same spiral, and those are made of even smaller cones. It goes on and on, infinitely. It is a Fibonacci sequence made living tissue. The spirals are perfect. It is mesmerizing to trace them with your eyes. Round and round, deeper and deeper. It is the geometry of life. Looking at the Romanesco, you feel a sense of awe at the intelligence of nature. It is not random. It is precise. It is a visual mantra. As you follow the spirals, your mind winds down, spiraling into a center of calm. It is green, structured, and deeply satisfying. We drift away from the garden to a dry savanna landscape to see a tree that looks like a candelabra. The candelabra tree. Euphorbia candelabrum. It is a massive succulent that grows into the shape of a tree. The branches curve out and then up, growing parallel to each other, looking exactly like a giant candle holder waiting for flames. But there is no fire here, only the cool light of the moon. The silhouette of the candelabra tree against the night sky is striking. It looks like a symbol, a glyph written on the horizon. It is rigid and strong. The branches are segmented, thick and fleshy. It stores water, surviving the heat. At night, it stands like a sentinel, a keeper of the flame of life. Its vertical lines draw the eye upward, toward the stars. It is a pillar of the earth, connecting the ground to the sky. It stands still, silent and enduring. Finally, for this leg of our journey, we return to the water's edge. We find a grove of bald cypress trees in a swamp in the southern United States. These trees love the water. Their trunks are flared at the base for stability. But the most unusual feature is their knees. Rising from the dark water around the trees are knobby, woody projections. They look like stalagmites or little gnomes standing in the water. These are the pneumatophores, the cypress knees. Scientists believe they help the tree breathe or provide stability in the soft mud. The swamp at night is a place of deep mystery. Spanish moss hangs from the branches like grey lace, swaying in the humid breeze. The water is black and still, reflecting the cypress knees. The trees look like ancient wizards standing in a council, their knees rising from the depths. It is a quiet, Gothic beauty. The air is heavy and warm. The sound of crickets is a steady thrum. The cypress trees are comfortable in the dark water. They are rooted in the deep mud, unbothered by the murky depths. They teach us to be comfortable with the unknown, to stand tall even when the ground is soft, to breathe even when things seem heavy. The Spanish moss acts like a curtain, gently closing on this scene. We have traveled far, from the trembling aspens to the underwater meadows, from the silver ferns to the fractals of the garden. The images of these unusual plants swirl gently in your mind, a kaleidoscope of green and silver, of rough and smooth. They are all part of the same earth that holds you now. They are all resting, growing, being. And you are with them, part of this great, silent family of life. The journey is not over, but the pace is slowing. The path is becoming softer, the light dimmer. We are drifting toward the final chapters of our botanical voyage, where the plants become even more dreamlike, guiding us gently toward the shores of sleep. From the misty swamps of the cypress trees, a gentle rain begins to fall in our imagination. It is a soft, cleansing shower, tapping lightly on the leaves, washing the world clean. We travel with the rain to the cool, forested mountainsides of Japan and the Appalachian Mountains. We are here to witness a transformation that feels like pure magic. We are looking for the skeleton flower, Diphilea grayi. When the sun is shining, this plant looks ordinary, with large umbrella-like leaves and clusters of small white flowers. The petals are opaque, like white paper. But as the rain falls, something miraculous happens. As the water touches the petals, they begin to lose their color. Slowly, gradually, they turn completely transparent. Watch as the white fades away, leaving behind flowers made of clear glass. The rain passes right through them. You can see the green veins and the yellow anthers inside, floating in a structure of crystal. They look like intricate ice sculptures or delicate jellyfish of the forest floor. It is a lesson in vulnerability and clarity. The flower does not resist the rain. It allows the water to change it, to reveal its inner structure. It becomes invisible, blending perfectly with the wet world around it. Standing in the gentle rain, watching these flowers turn to glass, you feel a sense of lightness. Like the flower, you can let things pass through you. You can be clear. You can be transparent. The rain stops, and slowly, as they dry, the flowers will turn white again. But for now, they are beautiful ghosts, shimmering in the grey light. The rain clears, leaving the earth damp and fragrant. We move to a cottage garden, bathed in the warm, drying sun. We are looking for comfort now, for tactile softness. We find it in the lamb's ear, Stachys byzantina. This is a plant that begs to be touched. The leaves are shaped like the ears of a lamb, long and curved. They are covered in a dense coat of silver-white wool. It is the softest thing in the garden. Reach out and stroke a leaf. It feels like velvet, like fleece, like a living blanket. The silver hairs catch the sunlight, creating a halo around the plant. It looks cozy, inviting. It grows low to the ground, spreading a carpet of softness over the soil. It is a plant of pure comfort. Touching it triggers a deep sense of soothing. It reminds us of soft blankets, of gentle pets, of safety. It asks nothing of us but to appreciate its texture. In a world of hard edges, the lamb's ear is a promise of gentleness. As evening approaches in the garden, the light turns silvery and blue. We find another plant that transforms with the seasons, the lunaria, also known as honesty, or the silver dollar plant. In the spring, it has purple flowers, but now, in the quiet of the seed season, it has become a collection of moons. The seed pods are flat, round discs. The outer skins have fallen away, leaving behind a central membrane that is paper-thin and pearlescent. They look like mother-of-pearl or translucent coins hanging from dry stems. In the moonlight, they shine with a spectral glow. They rustle softly in the breeze. Crinkle, hush, crinkle, hush. It is the sound of dry paper, quiet and calming. They look fragile, but they persist through the winter. Holding one up to the light, you can see your hand through it. It is a lantern without a flame. The lunaria teaches us about stripping away the unnecessary layers to reveal the shining core within. It is beautiful in its simplicity, a harvest of silver moons to light your way to sleep. We leave the temperate garden and return to the humid, rich atmosphere of the tropical highlands. We are climbing into the cloud forests of Borneo. Hanging from the vines and sitting on the mossy floor are the pitcher plants, nepenthes. These are the cups of the jungle. They hang like colourful goblets, shaped to hold liquid. Some are slender and elegant, others round and squat. They are painted in shades of lime green, deep red, and speckled purple. Each pitcher has a little lid, a leaf that overhangs the opening to keep out too much rain. Look inside one of these natural vessels. It holds a pool of digestive liquid, but to the peaceful observer, it looks like a cup of nectar. The rim is ribbed and glossy. The plant is passive. It waits for sustenance to fall into it. There is something heavy and relaxing about the shape of the pitcher. It is a container. It holds things. Imagine pouring your worries into one of these deep, green cups. The plant holds them for you. You don't have to carry them. The jungle around the pitcher plants is thick and green, a wall of life. The air is wet and oxygen-rich. Breathing it in feels nourishing. You are in a cradle of life, surrounded by plants that are calm, patient, and waiting. From the heavy cups of the pitcher plant, we look for something lighter, something that defies gravity. We travel to the grassy wetlands of Asia to find the white egret orchid, Pectilis radiata. This flower is a masterpiece of mimicry. It looks exactly, precisely, like a snowy white bird in mid-flight. The petals form the wide fringed wings, spreading out as if catching an updraft. The center forms the slender body and neck of the bird. It is poised, graceful, suspended in the air on a thin green stem. It looks weightless. A flock of these orchids looks like a flock of tiny white birds hovering over the grass. They are frozen in a moment of perfect freedom. Looking at them, you feel your own spirit lifting. You are light. You are capable of flight in your dreams. The orchid captures the feeling of taking off, of leaving the ground behind. It is pure white, pure grace, pure stillness in motion. We drift from the wetlands to the dry red earth of Namibia and South Africa once again, to visit a relative of the aloe that has become a tree. The quiver tree, or cocoboom, Aloedendron dichotomum. This tree has a silhouette that is unforgettable against the desert sky. The trunk is thick and tapers upward, covered in a golden brown bark that peels off in large, smooth scales. The bark looks like gold leaf or polished bronze. It reflects the harsh sun and the cool starlight with a warm, metallic glow. The branches fork repeatedly, dividing into twos, Y shapes upon Y shapes, creating a dense, rounded crown of spiky blue-green leaves. It looks like an inverted root system reaching for the heavens. The Sand People use the hollow branches to make quivers for their arrows, giving the tree its name. But tonight, it is a tree of peace. It stands in the silence of the rocky desert, a golden sentinel. The peeling bark suggests the shedding of the old, a constant renewal of the skin. It stands alone or in small forests, widely spaced, respecting the solitude of its neighbors. The space between the trees is filled with a silence so deep it hums. Standing there, you feel the warmth of the golden bark, the coolness of the desert shade. It is a place of absolute stillness. From the open desert, we travel to a secret canyon in the Blue Mountains of Australia. We are entering a Jurassic Park of the real world. We are looking for the Wollemi pine, Wollemia nobilis. For millions of years, this tree was known only from fossils. It was thought to be extinct, gone with the dinosaurs. And then, in 1994, a park ranger found a grove of them hidden in a deep, inaccessible canyon. It is a living fossil, a survivor against all odds. The bark of the Wollemi pine is distinct. It is dark brown and bubbly, looking exactly like bubbling chocolate or Cocoa Pops. It is textured and strange. The leaves are fern-like, arranged in flat rows, deep green and prehistoric. Being near a Wollemi pine feels like stepping back in time. The air in the canyon is cool and damp, protected by high stone walls. The trees have survived fires, ice ages, and the shifting of continents by staying hidden, by staying safe in their secret valley. It is a secret kept by the earth. It reminds us that there are still mysteries to be found, that life is more resilient than we can imagine. It radiates a feeling of ancient wisdom, of a long, unbroken line of life. We float up out of the canyon, catching a thermal updraft, and drift toward the tropical belt of the Americas and Africa. We are looking for a tree that dominates the canopy, the kapok tree, or Saber pentandra. This is a giant. Its trunk is massive, often covered in large conical spines when young, and supported by enormous buttress roots that wall outward like the fins of a rocket. It anchors the forest. But we are looking at it during its fruiting season. The pods of the kapok tree burst open to reveal a cloud of soft, silky fibers. This is the kapok, a natural cotton-like fluff. The seeds are embedded in this fluff, and when the wind blows, it looks like it is snowing in the tropics. Thousands of bits of white fluff drift lazily through the air, catching the light. It is a soft, silent blizzard. The fluff is lighter than air, buoyant and water-resistant. Watch the seeds float. They drift slowly, spiraling down, landing softly on the forest floor or floating on the river. The sight is incredibly relaxing. It is a release. The tree is letting go of its seeds, sending them off wrapped in a cloud. It invites you to let go of your own thoughts, to let them drift away like kapok in the wind, soft, weightless, and free. The forest floor becomes a soft bed of white. It is a scene of gentle abundance. We descend from the canopy to the forest floor of Asia to find a plant that dances to its own rhythm. The telegraph plant, or dancing plant, Codario calyx matorius. This is not a metaphor. The plant actually moves. It has large terminal leaves and smaller lateral leaflets. These small leaflets move constantly, rotating on their axes, moving up and down. They are searching for the sun, but the movement is visible to the naked eye. It looks like the plant is semaphore signaling or gently dancing to music only it can hear. Watch the leaflets twitch and turn. Up, down, twist, turn. It is a slow, rhythmic semaphore. It is mesmerizing to watch, like watching a fire or the ocean. The plant is active, alive, responding to its environment moment by moment. In the quiet of the evening, the movement slows, but it doesn't stop completely. It is a pulse of life. It reminds us that even in stillness, there is movement. Even in sleep, the body repairs and breathes. The dance of life continues, gentle and constant. We move to the surface of the water again, this time to the warm rivers of South America. We find the mosaic plant, Ludwigia cedioides. This floating plant creates a geometric pattern on the water that is incredibly pleasing to the eye. The leaves are diamond-shaped, reddish-green, and arranged in a perfect rosette. They fit together like tiles in a mosaic or pieces of a kaleidoscope. The rosettes float together, interlocking to form a carpet of intricate patterns. In the low light of evening, the red tones of the leaves deepen to purple and bronze. The water between the leaves reflects the sky. It looks like a stained glass window laid horizontally on the river. The symmetry is flawless. Nature loves geometry. Looking at the mosaic plant, your mind naturally seeks order and finds it. There is no chaos here, only a perfect tessellation of leaves. The gentle current of the river moves the whole carpet slowly, shifting the pattern, but never breaking it. It is a drifting puzzle, solved and complete. We travel now to the dry, rocky scrub of Madagascar to find the Madagascar palm, Pachypodium lamarae. Despite its name, it is not a palm, but a succulent. It has a thick, silver-grey trunk covered in long, sharp spines. It looks like a cactus, but at the very top, it bursts into a palm-like tuft of long, glossy green leaves. It looks like a tree drawn by a child, a thick, spiky stick with a mop of green on top. It is whimsical and tough. The trunk is swollen with water. It stands straight and tall, unbranching, a solitary figure in the scrub. In the flowering season, beautiful white flowers with yellow centers bloom among the leaves, smelling of perfume. The contrast between the spiky, armored trunk and the delicate leaves and flowers is striking. It is a plant that protects its softness fiercely. It stands guard over its own resources. In the moonlight, the silver spines glisten, creating a halo around the trunk. It is a warrior of the desert, peaceful in its strength. We move to the temperate rainforests of Tasmania to find the Huon pine, Lagerostrobos franklini. This is one of the oldest living organisms on Earth. Not a single tree, but a stand of trees that are genetically the same, reproducing vegetatively. Some stands are over 10,000 years old. These trees grow by the river, Their wood is rich with a golden oil that preserves it, giving it a scent that lasts for centuries, a smell of clean pine and ancient wood. The branches droop gracefully over the water, weeping greenery into the river. The Huon pine grows incredibly slowly, millimeters per year. It is in no rush. It has all of time. To be in the presence of a Huon pine is to be in the presence of patience incarnate. The river flows by, constantly changing, but the tree remains. It watches the water. It smells of history. It is a deep golden anchor in the flow of time. From the ancient pine, we travel to the coast of the Mediterranean to see the sea daffodil, Pancratium maritimum. It grows directly in the sand of the beach, enduring the salt spray and the hot sun. The leaves are grey-green and twisted, but the flower is pure white, shaped like a trumpet or a star, with a delicate corona. It opens in the late afternoon and stays open through the night. It glows against the dark sand. It has a sweet, heavy fragrance that mixes with the smell of the ocean. It is the scent of summer nights by the sea. The flower looks too delicate for such a harsh environment, yet there it is, thriving. It blooms in the sand, a miracle of white purity. As the waves crash rhythmically on the shore, the sea daffodil stands still, drinking in the moonlight. It is a beacon of beauty on the edge of the vast, dark sea. We drift inland to a forest floor covered in dead leaves. But rising from the decay is a flash of red. It is the snow plant, Sarcodes sanguinea. Found in the mountains of the American West, it is a parasitic plant that bursts from the ground just as the snow is melting. It has no green leaves. It is a brilliant, shocking scarlet red, a fleshy stalk covered in bell-shaped red flowers. It looks like a flame rising from the snow or the brown earth. It draws its energy from fungi in the soil. It creates its own heat, melting the snow around it as it pushes up. It is a plant of passion and energy, but it is silent, a red sentinel in the white snow. It reminds us of the fire of life that burns even in the coldest times. It is vivid, intense, and yet perfectly still, a frozen flame. We move now to the tropical waters of the Amazon again to see the aquatic sensitive plant, Neptunia oleracea. Like its land cousin, it closes its leaves when touched. But it also has a spongy white tissue on its stems that acts like a floaties, keeping it buoyant on the water. It floats in mats on the river. Touch a leaf and it folds up, sinking slightly into the water. It is a plant that retreats into the emotional depths of the river. It is safe there. The yellow flowers look like little puffballs, floating on the surface. It is a gentle, floating existence, drifting with the current, closing up when disturbed, opening to the sun. It flows. It accepts. It rides the surface of the river of life. We travel to the rocky outcrops of Europe to find the house leek, Semper Vivum. The name means always alive. These are rosettes of succulent leaves that grow in the cracks of rocks, on roofs, in places where nothing else can survive. They form tight little geometric clusters, like green roses made of stone. They produce chicks, baby offsets, that cluster around the mother plant. They represent family, longevity, and protection. They were once planted on roofs to protect houses from lightning. Looking at a patch of Semper Vivum, you see a texture that is dense and satisfying. The rosettes fit together perfectly. They are tough, enduring frost and drought. They are the guardians of the home. They sit quietly on the roof, watching the sky, always alive, always green. Finally, we travel to the mysterious island of Socotra one last time to see the star of Socotra, Caralluma socotrana. It is another succulent with thick green stems, but its flowers are deep purple velvet stars that cluster along the stems. They look like medals or badges of honor. The purple is so dark it is almost black. The texture is rich and soft. Against the pale, dry rock of the island, they look regal. They are jewels of the desert. They remind us that even in the most isolated places, beauty flourishes. Nature decorates every corner of the world. The star of Socotra shines its dark light for no one but the wind and the lizards. It exists for its own sake. As we stand on this quiet island, surrounded by the strange and beautiful forms of the dragon trees and the desert roses and the velvet stars, the night sky wheels overhead. The Milky Way is a river of light mirroring the river of life we have traveled. The images of the transparent skeleton flowers, the soft lamb's ear, the silver lunaria moons, the floating white egrets, the golden quiver trees, the fluffy kapok seeds, the dancing telegraph plant, the geometric mosaic plant, they all blend together into a tapestry of peace. You are part of this tapestry. You are woven into this web of life. You are as resilient as the Wollemi pine, as soft as the lamb's ear, as adaptable as the mangrove. The earth holds you. The plants watch over you. The night is a warm blanket, and the world is a garden of quiet wonders. We drift deeper now, past the forms and the colors, into the pure essence of the botanical world. The slow pulse of sap, the silent intake of air, the gentle turning toward the light, the stillness. The path ahead is barely visible now, a soft blur of green and shadow. We are moving toward the deepest part of the night, where the dreams of plants and the dreams of people meet. We have traveled across continents and oceans, climbing mountains and diving into the depths of the sea. Now, the journey turns inward, moving toward the quietest spaces where life exists on nothing but air and moisture. We find ourselves drifting through a warm, humid forest in the Americas, looking up into the branches of ancient oak trees. Here, suspended in the air, are the air plants, Tillandsia. They have no roots in the ground. They do not need the earth to anchor them. They cling lightly to the bark of the trees, gathering everything they need from the atmosphere around them. They are the ultimate travelers, free from the weight of the soil. Their silver-green leaves curl and twist, forming soft, spiky spheres that look like stars caught in the branches. Imagine what it feels like to be an air plant, to be suspended, weightless, held up by the strength of the tree, fed by the mist and the rain. It is a life of total trust. They float in the canopy, rocking gently when the wind blows. Looking at them, you feel your own sense of gravity shifting. You are becoming lighter. The heaviness of the body remains on the bed, but your spirit lifts, hovering just above, drifting like the Tillandsia in the warm night air. From the air, we slowly descend one last time to the desert floor of Arizona to witness a rare and sacred event. It is the blooming of the queen of the night, Peneus greggi. This cactus looks like a collection of dry, dead sticks for most of the year. It is unassuming, hidden among the creosote bushes, almost invisible. But tonight is the night. Once a year, in the heat of midsummer, usually on a night of a full moon, the queen wakes up. The buds, which have been swelling for days, begin to tremble. As the sun vanishes and the air cools, the white petals unfurl. They open wide, revealing a flower the size of a dinner plate, pure white and luminous against the dark desert sand. It releases a fragrance that is powerful and sweet, a scent of vanilla and white floral notes that travels for miles in the still air. It is a performance for the moon alone. The flower is exquisite, fragile, and fleeting. By the time the sun rises tomorrow, it will wilt and fade. Its entire glory is reserved for the darkness. It reminds us that the night is not a time of emptiness, but a time of profound beauty. It is a time for opening up, for releasing your own inner fragrance, for blooming in the safety of the dark. The queen of the night stands radiant in the shadows, a beacon of purity and peace. As the scent of the cactus flower fades into the distance, the light in our journey dims to a soft, magical glow. We are entering a forest of bioluminescent fungi, the Mycena chlorophyll. We are walking on a path of soft moss, and all around us, on the fallen logs and the damp earth, Tiny green lights are flickering on. They are not harsh lights. They are soft, neon green pulses, like the heartbeat of the forest made visible. They guide the way forward, not showing us the destination, but just the next step. The glow is cool and calming. It is the light of the earth itself. These glowing mushrooms are the night lights of nature. They watch over the sleeping forest. They remind us that even in the deepest darkness, there is always a light. You don't need to be afraid of the dark. It is populated by these gentle, glowing guardians. The light blurs and softens, turning the forest into a dreamscape of emerald and shadow. We have seen the giants and the microscopic, the desert survivors and the water dwellers. Now, all these forms begin to merge. The distinctive shapes of the dragon trees, the baobabs, the water lilies, and the silver ferns begin to soften. They lose their sharp edges. They blend into a single comforting sensation of green. You are entering the great forest of sleep. Here the trees are tall and protective, their branches interlocking to form a roof that keeps you safe and warm. The ground is deep and soft, covered in layers of leaves and moss that have been settling for thousands of years. Imagine that you are sinking into this softness. You are like a seed, finding its perfect resting place in the rich, dark soil. It is safe here. It is quiet. The earth holds you. You can feel the slow, rhythmic pulse of the planet beneath you. Thrum, thrum, thrum. It is the sound of sap moving through millions of trunks. It is the sound of roots growing deeper in the dark. It is the sound of life resting. Your own roots are growing down now, extending from your spine, from your feet, reaching deep into the grounding energy of the earth. You are anchored. You are stable. Nothing can move you. You are as solid as the ancient baobab, as enduring as the welwitschia. The air around you is still. Not a leaf moves. The wind has stopped. The birds are asleep. The flowers have closed their petals. The sensitive plants have folded their leaves. The whole world has turned inward, curling up for the night. You feel a heaviness in your limbs, a pleasant, warm weight. It is the weight of wood, the weight of stone. Your arms are heavy branches, resting by your side. Your legs are roots, sunk deep into the bed. Your head is a heavy flower, nodding gently, finally coming to rest. The colors are fading now. The vibrant greens and pinks and silvers are desaturating, turning into shades of soft gray and velvety black. The visual world is turning off. There is no need to see anymore. The images of the unusual plants are just gentle memories now, soft impressions floating in the mind. You recall the feeling of the lamb's ear, soft, soft wool. You recall the sound of the quaking aspen, shh, shh. You recall the scent of the angel's trumpet, sweet and heavy. These sensations wrap around you like a cocoon. You are safe in the garden of the night. The plants are watching over you. The silver ferns are glowing faintly to keep you company. The old man cactus is wrapping you in a warm blanket. The mangroves are protecting you from the waves. Everything is slow. Everything is quiet. Everything is peace. Your breath is the only movement left, slow, deep, rhythmic, like the tide of the ocean, like the opening and closing of a flower, in and out, expanding and relaxing. There is nothing left to do. The journey is complete. You have seen the wonders of the earth, and now you return to the most wonderful place of all, the center of your own stillness. The forest is fading into mist. The mist is fading into darkness. A warm, comfortable, welcoming darkness. You are drifting, floating, sinking, deep into the earth, deep into the night, deep into sleep. Rest now. The plants are sleeping, the world is sleeping, and you are sleeping. Quiet, still, peace.